Hi, my name is Becky Jennings, and this is the ResponseABLE Parenting Podcast. I give you the transformational tools to stop reacting to your children in the moment and start responding with intention.
Before we dive into the episode, I want to share my free guide to managing our kids' meltdowns. We know that meltdowns are normal, but they still suck and can be ridiculously triggering. This 4-step free guide will help you break the cycle of reactivity and help you get through the meltdown without snapping yourself. Don't join your kid in the tantrum. Grab my free guide and learn how to manage meltdowns like a pro. Head to responsablepparenting.ck.page/meltdown, or just go and click the link in my show notes and get your guide today. Okay, let's get to the episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the ResponseABLE Parenting Podcast. I'm your host, Becky Jennings. I'm so excited to be here. I love showing up to this podcast. It's something that fills me up. And I feel like every single day that I record a podcast or listen to a podcast, I am just such a more connected parent on those days. So I just want to say thank you first and foremost for choosing to listen to this. It's such an honor for me to be able to be a part of this community. So just wanted to say that I'm feeling very grateful for you all. And on to my other favorite part about this is connecting with my trolls. I know, but not really. But I do get a decent amount of aggressive commentary in my reels. And one of them is really about respect. It's just a constant theme amongst the trolls that like to dabble in my content. And I get the feedback a lot from these people that I'm not teaching my children respect. And to me, I'll just be super clear. Respect to me is a very generous relationship with each other, where we can have open communication, where we're curious about each other, where we try to meet each other's needs, where we are kind to each other, where we speak to each other nicely, where we think about the other person's feelings, we use empathy, we validate where the person is at, and we are supporting them through their experiences. Respect to me is a genuine relationship that wants to be together, that wants to be in that dynamic, that enjoys each other's company and will do what we need to do to make sure that relationship stays healthy. That to me shows a beautiful amount of respect, to understand the differences between us as humans and not judge them, recognize them, and see how we can support each other or how we can pick up the slack in one way or the other. To me, respect is just coming together in our own unique ways of being human and still wanting to grow that relationship and enjoy that relationship. That might be a very long-winded answer, but it's basically like seeing the humanity in somebody else, accepting it, and having that other person see the humanity in you, accept it, and then come together and have magical, joyful, wonderful moments. And even in the hard parts, even in the annoying parts, we're still there to support and we're not bringing judgment to the table, and we're not trying to change the person to make us feel better. So oftentimes what I interpret and actually have heard people say about respect is that respect is blind obedience to the authority, to the parent. Respect is doing what is asked of you, no matter what, with a smile on your face. And I just find that that is ripe for abuse. I find that situation and that dynamic really uncomfortable, because we're basically saying that in a hierarchical system of the parent and child dynamic, that the parent is far superior just because they've lived longer on this earth than the child is. And the child has to be subservient to the dominating parent. It just sounds icky to me. And when I say it like that, I hope it sounds icky to you, because that's truly what we're asking. If we are asking our child to show blind obedience, what we're asking them is to be submissive to any and all requests that we make. any and all demands that we make. And I just don't think that that sets us up for a really genuine relationship. And it just kind of zaps any opportunity for a lot of connection. So while on the surface, your child might be showing you quote unquote respect by doing what you're asking and complying, I would be curious to see the reasons underneath why your child is doing that. Is your child doing and following and complying because they're like, oh, this just feels like such a connected moment. I really, my mom or my dad made that request of me, and I'm feeling so connected with them. I want to be here and I want to show up in this way for them because I know that would feel good to them. Or are they like, I have total fear of what could happen as a result of me saying no? That is their learned response coping skill to make sure they stay safe and in favor with their caregiver who they actually need to be safe with in order to survive. So what are the reasons why your child is being compliant? Is it because they feel connected and loved, or is it the fear of repercussion? I would ask yourselves that if your main goal is blind obedience and your bottom line is respect. So one thing that I talk to my clients about on a regular basis, and we work on this in my community group quite a bit, is talking about a way in which we can foster respect, mutual respect, through communication. Now, one of the areas we're constantly asking our children to do something. It is part of our fabric of being parents, and it's all day. Can you go get your teeth brushed? Can you get dressed? Come to the table for dinner. I mean, every single thing we have to step by step ask them to do these things. So it is an opportunity, and a huge chunk of our interactions is how we speak to our children. And one of my favorite tools in nonviolent communication is the understanding of whether or not you are making a demand or a request. I think that is super, super important. So when you are making a request, you're asking a specific person to take specific action to meet a need. Now, I'm going to blow your mind here, and this is from Marshall Rosenberg, who wrote Nonviolent Communication. He then goes on to say that a need contains no reference to a specific person. It's just trying to fill the need within us. And we all share the same basic human needs. We all share them. So a request is asking a specific person to take specific action with the hopes that it's meeting our specific needs. Meanwhile, needs contain zero reference to that specific person taking that action. As we know, it takes a village to raise our children, but more and more, we are doing the entire job on our own. And that stops today. I have created a parent community app focused directly on giving you essential support tools. The ResponseABLE Parenting Community Group is available now. In this community, you will have more parenting strategies right at your fingertips. You'll have direct access to me and my coaching every month in our live Q&As, where you can bring your burning parenting questions and get my real-time support. I will host monthly exclusive workshops, facilitate weekly skill-building exercises, and more. This space is designed to meet you where you are at on your parenting journey. It's a judgment-free zone with parents and caregivers who are learning and growing right alongside of you. For less than $1 a day, you will have access to exclusive parenting content and coaching. I cannot wait to be a bigger part of your parenting journey. Head over to ResponseABLEParenting.com to join today. Enter promo code PODCAST to receive $10 off your first month. That's PODCAST for $10 off your first month. Now, a demand, on the other hand, is having this expectation that the person that we are making this specific request to will comply on our time frame when we say it, with a smile on their face. And if they don't, we have our defenses ready to go to attack, to make them regret the fact that they did not comply with our demand. So I think just this one massive tool, reframing whether or not you are making a request or a demand, changes your whole dynamic when it comes to respect. Because when you are making a request, you are understanding that there are other ecosystems and quality worlds around you. You understand that you have these expectations, that you're trying to fill your needs over here. Meanwhile, your child has its own set of needs and a whole other bucket of things that are important to them. And instead of disregarding what is going on in their life so that your needs can be fulfilled and that your timeline is perfectly on track and you're not disrupted, you take into account both needs and you're able to work in the dynamic with a more conscious communication. And it just opens us up for such a better teaching ground to actually teach respect. So then the child doesn't feel like they have to just comply in order to stay safe. The child understands that they also are valuable and worthy. They also have an opinion, and they can also safely bring it to the table. And eventually, both of your guys' needs will get met. It will. It's just a matter of whether or not you're forcing it and jamming the situation, or you're taking a few extra more moments, and it's really not that much longer, to appeal to the person, to speak to the person, and to have a genuine kind back and forth to make sure everybody's needs are being met. So when it comes to respect, one of the greatest gifts that you can give your family is switching in your mind and asking yourself, am I making a request or am I making a demand? And if you're making a demand, how can you kind of take away some of your defensive armor in the situation and reframe it to be a request where you understand that you're actually asking another person to do something who might have a life and something else going on as well? Respect is mutual. Respect is modeled. When you are asking your child to be respectful, ask yourself, am I showing my child respect as well? Or am I dismissing them, asking them to be my robot that I control? These are questions that we need to ask around respect. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm sure I'm going to get some fiery comments, but they are welcome. All right, thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the ResponseABLE Parenting Podcast. If you like what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. If you know someone who would benefit from this podcast, I'd be honored if you'd share this episode with them. Until next time, know that you are enough, you are capable, you've made it through all of your hardest days, and we will keep growing on this parenting journey together. This podcast was produced by Kim Kelty and myself, Becky Jennings, and edited by the Kelty Method, Branding and Podcasting.